Hey everybody, welcome back to this special exclusive YouTube event, how to launch and scale your perfect online business. This episode, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to use this as a personal coaching session because this is stuff I want to geek out on. So I'm super excited. How are you, pal? You okay?
I'm Matthias. I'm an agency owner from Munich. We're running YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads for coaches, consultants, in general, high ticket services. And well, we're going to talk about today how to build a profitable YouTube business, right? A business YouTube channel, if you will, how to scale it, and how to generate high ticket leads from it. So it won't be the kind of entertaining style, how to build a Mr. Beast YouTube channel. No, we're going to talk about how to build a small but very lucrative YouTube channel for the right kind of people. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds sexy. It just sounds sexy. It's like, no, I don't have to build this million, 2 million subscribers to even get $1 back. Small, lucrative,
Yeah.
and very strategic for the right person. So that sounds absolutely perfect. It sounds right up my street. How did you get started? Like, how did you get to YouTube? Because we had a conversation backstage about how I got there. How did you get onto doing the whole YouTube thing and wanting to help businesses grow on YouTube?
Well, actually, why I started my own channel on YouTube, it was because in the past, well, we're an agency, right? We're looking for bigger clients and we were relying a lot on manual outreach, cold client acquisition. That's how you usually get the bigger clients. If you're really looking for businesses who are making 100,000 per month, 150, 200 per month, then cold outreach is still a nice option. But there's a but, right? Every time you're doing cold outreach, firstly, it's very annoying because there's a lot of time and effort you have to put into. You have to reach out to call people, right? And secondly, the efficiency is quite low. And
Mm,
usually the efficiency is low because people do not really know you. Yeah. So the intention for me was, why did I start a YouTube channel? It is making lead generation and sales more effective for myself, for my business, right? And this is also the, let's say, the goal you should have in mind when you want to start a YouTube channel. All the strategies that you have in place, doesn't matter if it's running ads, organic marketing, cold outreach, sending DMs out or something, your goal should be making this very process more effective. And how can you do that? By starting a channel and showing expertise there, showing that you're more three dimensional than just a Facebook post, just an image and
mm.
a written text, or just being a stranger in the messengers or so. Yeah.
I like that. And do you know what? Obviously, taking this back to like, you're absolutely right. Obviously, cold DMs, it's the easiest way to start lead generating, but it's, as you say, the conversion percentage is quite low.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the minute you have a problem in your business, what do? You jump on Google, you jump on YouTube, and you search for it. So if straight away, if your channel pops up, you are already ahead of 99% of the Facebook marketers because they've gone to you first and then they may find you later. So that is basically sounds like exactly what you wanted. You wanted to be ahead of all the cold DM people, ahead of all that. And just
Exactly.
by setting up this and obviously having this YouTube channel, that's how it sort of happened, yeah.
Exactly. And you know, it's actually quite easy to do this. It's very simple, straightforward. We have all your social media profiles. Maybe you have a website. Make sure you're linking your channel everywhere. And
Mm,
when people consider jumping on a call with you, that's the outcome of lead generation, right? Booking calls in high ticket services. They will do research on you everywhere. They check out your website, they search for you on Google, and they maybe even find your YouTube channel if you link it properly in your marketing ecosystem, right?
mm,
And if there are coming up certain videos, and that's what you should do in the beginning, right? Videos that build trust. For instance, if you handle objections, if you have certain interviews, video testimonials on this channel, you're able to build trust right away. So it increases all the marketing efforts that you're currently performing on. It increases the efficiency, right?
yeah, I completely. It's right, isn't it? Because like when I was a closer, like my first background of online stuff was closing, like closing the high ticket deals for people. And what we sort of said was like what we found in terms of the people that were converting compared to the people who weren't was the people who followed the influencer for a longer period of time, people who were indoctrinated with him. And it turned out basically that the people who bought like 5K, 10K packages had watched about 5 to 10 hours worth of
Yeah.
his YouTube content. So it worked out for every $1,000 you wanted them to spend, they had to, on average, consume $1,000 worth of content, or an hour's worth of content, should I say? So $1,000 to an hour. And the best place is YouTube.
Definitely. That's your go-to place. And you will see if you do it correctly from the right kind of psychological perspective. Yeah, that's why we're, for instance, we're not just an agency who's running Facebook, YouTube ads or Instagram ads or whatsoever. We're doing this on a sales psychological basis. Yeah, so there's a little bit of science in there, right? And if you do this correctly, if you're using the right kind of psychological triggers in there in your videos, you're addressing the right kind of hormone levels and all this kind of stuff, you can frame people correctly. So the cool thing now about YouTube is if you frame people correctly, you can eliminate certain objections, you can bash on certain myths right away so they won't appear on the sales call, and you can lead people directly into a direction that benefits your sales process, right? For instance, what we are doing as a marketing agency, last few years, what was very, very common or very popular, running webinar funnels or stuff like this, right? And then, of course, you're getting people on a sales call say, okay, you want to build a VSL funnel for us? Why not a webinar funnel like everyone else is doing? Well, everyone who's into marketing knows that a webinar funnel can be a pain in the ass sometimes because it's technically very challenging and it's a lot of work to copyright a webinar and so on and so forth. So what I did is I launched a video on YouTube that was bashing on webinar funnels and was explaining why VSL funnels are so amazing. Since then, I never had a call where somebody on this call was asking, okay, can you build a webinar funnel for me? Everyone was like, okay, VSL funnel, how should this work now for my instance, you know? So I framed people for this, yeah? And if you're
Nice.
really smart, you have a look at the current market situation. All the other agencies out there, the cheaper agencies, they're running Facebook lead form ads, for instance, and then you get an email address and a phone number. And everyone who's a serious business owner and is making between 100 to 200,000 per month or so knows that these kind of leads are shit, right? So I just bashed on this only in one of my YouTube videos, and I polarized the market on this, right? And this way I'm setting myself apart from all the other competitors, all the other agencies who are trying to do cold outreach or stuff like this, yeah, because I'm setting the expert frame. Yeah, this
Yeah,
makes things so much easier.
it makes total sense, doesn't it? And you are right, exactly. Like, because those videos, like, I'll be honest, like, every time I jump or get a sales call booked through YouTube, if it's through YouTube, it's closed so much quicker.
Yes.
It is so much compared to in the DMs, on Facebook, all that thing. Then it's like a call, a follow-up call, potential, like, but because they are higher on the like on the interest level, the more problem aware, the more we've now taught them about the solution through YouTube, and then they book a call. Oh my God, they convert like that.
Yes.
And when you talk about the polarity, the best way I can sort of describe it is, obviously when Russell Brunson came into the market all those years ago with funnels and Clickfunnels, and he just bashed on websites, didn't he? Just like, websites are crap, don't do it, no, not worth it, low conversion rate, and he just kept hitting websites with a stick. Well, what's your alternative? Thought of a funnel. And then he used his platforms to basically make funnels look like the best things ever. And so it's that strategy is, so basically when people are booking calls and going for ClickFunnels or whatever, or going for your stuff, like, as you say, they're already sold before they book the call.
Exactly.
Right?
They're usually people who book a call with you from YouTube, they're more or less pre-sold, right? They're just asking for the price.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Which means, like, and I always say this about, like, 'cause that conversation always comes up, doesn't it? What's more important, marketing or sales? And like, everyone asks that question as like a bit of a hook to get people talking. I always say marketing. I was like, because if you get your marketing right, it makes the sales call virtually irrelevant.
Yes.
It's just price, boom, price, contract.
Exactly. That's very true. Well, nevertheless, of course, your sales game should be on point, right? But definitely, if you prepare people, or if you frame people correctly in your marketing, sales will become so much easier for you. Yeah. And this is a very cool thing about YouTube, right? Because especially there with the high mental opt-in that you don't have on platforms like Facebook or so, everyone on Facebook is mindlessly scrolling through their content. There's no mental opt-in, but on YouTube you have this. So you're able to go really deep. You're able to go really, really deep in your content, right? And this is what makes the difference at the end of the day. And this way you're able to prepare, indoctrinate leads correctly for the viewers on YouTube, just like Russell Brunson did, right? Bashing on websites and saying, look, funnels is what you really need. He's indoctrinating people over multiple months and years. And on YouTube, it's so much easier to do this because there's such a high mental opt-in there. People are in a learning mode. They're mentally more capable to watch a 10-minute video compared to Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm loving this because, like, so far the conversation has been so psychological. It's great. It's not a quick trick. It's not a quick hack.
No,
It's basic psychology, and you are right. Like the process in terms of people scrolling through TikTok and like obviously it's 15 seconds commitment max usually, like, and then they're away. Same with Facebook. Same with Instagram. Yes, they're great for building an audience that you then have to divert them somewhere to do the indoctrination process. They are like a step above where YouTube is. YouTube is where you get your raving fans, like where you get your people who
exactly.
are invested in you. And you are massively talking about psychology, which is incredible. So how do people create a YouTube video and create good YouTube videos to psychologically bring them through that then gets them to booking a call?
That's a complex question. That's a
Oh, I
pretty
know.
complex question.
You
So
got this.
the thing is, if you really want to prepare your viewers mentally, psychologically, then what you have to do, of course, is you have to lead people to a certain through a certain funnel, if you will, right? Every person is at a different stage mentally with their buying interest, with their problem awareness. So the important thing now is in the beginning, or let's say you want to have videos that attract new people. Those kind of videos should be relatively broad when it comes to the topic. They should be very much focused on the problem awareness. So you're able to pull people, new people into your system, right? People maybe who are not even aware of, okay, there's a problem that I have that I need to fix. You're creating this problem awareness so people understand, whoa, okay, now I really understand there's a significant problem that I need to fix in my life. So that's the very top of your funnel, if you will. Yeah. Those are usually the videos that get a lot of reach because they're applicable to the majority of the market, right? They're not aware of having a problem. You can create the content around this topic in a very broad way so it appeals to broader masses.
Mm.
Okay. This is then the very beginning where you're getting the videos with most of the reach, right? The leads with the lowest buying temperature, they're relatively cold, they don't know you yet. This is the beginning, the top of the funnel. Then you go to the next level. So, by the way, when I'm talking about this, I mean, when you're producing content, right? You always want to make sure that you're producing content for these different awareness stages in your funnel, right? You want to mix this up to appeal to different awareness levels in the market, okay?
Mm.
But once you got the awareness covered, you know, where you're getting a lot of reach, let's say through a certain video and you're bringing in new people with this, then you can also produce content on the next level. This is then usually the process awareness or something where you can really talk about, okay, why is your process, the way how you're doing business or the way how your service works better than the processes of your competitors, right? Why is specifically this suited, especially for you? Yeah. Okay. And then the bottom of the funnel, this is where it becomes then really, really interesting. That's when the conversions happen. And there it becomes more complex. This is then the stuff where you really want to build a lot of trust and want to show a lot of expertise, because that's when people then start considering jumping on a call with you, right? Or maybe signing up for something, some of your offers, depends on what you're offering, right? And there you need to be very, very careful when it comes to high ticket services. So you want to make sure that you're converting at this point the right kind of people. Yeah. And this is where it starts getting more complex. So you want to produce content that converts in a way that only attracts the people that you really want to work with. Yeah. So for instance, this may go deeper than you may think now. What we're doing a lot, we predominantly work with people who have a very high testosterone level. So what I'm purposefully doing in my conversion videos, if you will, I'm purposefully triggering these kind of hormones. Why do I do this? It's simple. In our experience, people with higher testosterone levels, they perform better, they get better results, they execute better, and usually we're in B2B, they make more money, right? This is the very reason why we're working with this specific archetype of a client. And these kind of people need to be addressed in your content. Yeah, and there are different ways, of course, how to do this, different psychological triggers. And those are the guys who want to sign up then for a call with you. And more or less, you're repulsing everyone else. Yeah. And this is the very key to getting good conversions with high ticket leads. Yeah. If you're going too broad in your marketing, you're trying to appeal to everyone, right? You're trying to work with everyone or something like this, or with all kind of different people, it won't really work. So you need to be really, really careful. What is the specific ideal client, quote unquote? Everyone is talking about this ideal client, all right? And how can I address this very person directly in my videos, and convert only these kind of people? And those are the guys that are then super easy on your sales call. Those are the clients that get amazing results. Yeah. And then you have a relatively high conversion rate on your videos on a YouTube channel, or also on YouTube ads then later on. Right. So this is very important. There is one, let's say, requirement in order to get there. It is not enough nowadays to just target an ideal client like all the business coaches are telling you. You also got to become the ideal expert for these people, right? This is,
Nice.
you can think about it like if you would go to the doctor in the hospital, if you may go to a heart specialist, if you will. You've got problems with your heart, you want to talk to a specialist. Now imagine this doctor is sitting there with a Hawaii shirt or something. Does it build trust? Yes or no? Usually not, right? So you want to look like the ideal expert that people have in mind when it comes to a certain service. That's the very reason why the doctor is usually sitting there in a white coat or something. Yeah, because it's very stereotypical, and that's what people have in mind. Yeah, when it comes to an expert like this, and you have to look like this kind of an expert. And this becomes even more important if you really work with a premium audience, if you work with really affluent people or with very successful companies. There are small and minor differences in their communication and how you appear in front of a video or in your marketing in general. And those are the small differences that really make the difference at the end of the day. Yeah.
Nice. Now I'm going to jump in here because I'm going to circle around this ideal expert thing because I think this is actually pretty crucial.
Yes.
And it goes basically, it starts at before we even went live. Like you jumped on, and I said to you just before we went live, and I was like, "You mate, you look good." I was like, "You look good," and you do. Like you've come on, and you look like an expert. Like you look like you know what you're talking about. And we easily identified that within about 10 seconds of the video. Like we knew, like you could tell straight away you knew what you were talking about. And this is why this conversation is just going to be an epic conversation. But you did, like, you come on, like you've got a power stance, like you look good, everything about it looks just clean and boom. Like, so how did you get to a position where you created yourself as the ideal expert? What little psychological hacks and what positional play have you put in place to become this ideal expert? And how did you even discover that's what you needed to look like?
Well, actually, how I discovered it is if you really think about the example regarding the doctor, right? If you don't look like a doctor, doesn't build that much trust. So, but how did I get there? Well, this has a lot to do with branding psychology, yeah, and it has a lot to do with competitor research. right? So take a look at how are your competitors looking. Yeah, I'm running a performance marketing agency. Most people who talk about Facebook ads on YouTube, they look like, well, 15-year-old guys who are sitting at their mom's basement and talking about Facebook. Well, how can I polarize on this now? Well, by looking like a real business owner, by looking like somebody who knows what he's talking about, who maybe got a professional office, right? Who has a nice environment here in the background, maybe a logo of your company, maybe a plant or something, anything that looks like an office, because people expect me to work in an office as a marketing agency or an agency owner, right? They're not interested in working with somebody who's sitting at home in their living room, for instance, and is running some Facebook ads on their computer. No, my clients are usually giving me multiple thousands or 10,000 euros, dollars, pounds per month for their ads. So I need to look credible, right? I need to look like somebody who's really a business owner and he's focusing on work. And people who are working in an office look more like they're a professional expert compared to sitting in the living room or wheresoever, right? When it comes to my style, how I'm dressing myself, when I started using this unique mechanism in my marketing, the sales psychological approach, well, I was thinking about, okay, how do psychologists usually look like? Usually they wear turtlenecks or they wear a white shirt and a suit. And if you have a look at my website, then you will see me a lot wearing those turtlenecks and white shirts with a suit. Yeah. It is very, very conservative how I dress myself. This is another secret when it comes to working with affluent people and very successful companies. You as an expert have to look a little bit more conservative than your competitors, a little calmer, if you will, a little more rooted, confident. Yeah, that's super important. That's also the way reason why your content, your marketing should be a little more boring. To most people now, this might sound counterintuitive, right? Everyone is talking about, yeah, you got to be engaging and it needs to be flashy, and you need to keep the attention span and stuff like this. But I can tell you, high ticket leads, they have the mental capacity to watch a 10-15 minute video without any cuts or so. If people are mentally not capable of doing this, they're not quality leads. Yeah. And all those small but really tiny details, they're extremely important. Yeah. They're extremely important when it comes to attracting the right kind of people through your marketing or through a YouTube channel then. Yeah. And
That
if
was
you
gold. Yeah. No,
let me
sorry,
let me
carry on,
add something to
mate.
this to go even one step further now. Yeah. If you're thinking about, okay, how do I need to look like? For most of you, just search your profession, your service on Google. Go on Google Images and pick the image that looks most stereotypical. That's how you want to look like, right? Because the psychological factor that builds trust is that you look exactly like people expect you to look like, right? Of course, you can add a unique element or something to this, of course, but the general foundation should be exactly like people expect you, right? And Google Images is very good for that. I can recommend that.
That's insane. And do you know what? It just makes perfect sense. When you refer it back to the doctor, and then obviously, like, if a doctor come in a hoodie and some shorts and some sandals, you'd be like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, can I have me doctor, please, not the
yeah,
janitor?" And I totally get it. It makes total sense. And I love how again you reverted it back to, well, actually the psychology behind it, the fact that we don't have to do all these flashy things and like all these massive cuts to, like, if the guy can't sit there for 10 minutes and watch a YouTube video based on something he has already typed in as a search capacity, then he's definitely not going to have the attention span to work with you on a long-term basis. So it's
yeah,
already like the site. Not only is there you've, because obviously everyone books through an application. Like, not only have you got your application to qualify, you've got these behavioral traits that if they can't do that, then
yes,
they're not a good fit. That is going well beyond what most 5K courses teach you.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
100%. That goes well beyond that. That is, you're pre-qualifying from the moment they click on a video, like, and you're indoctrinating and you're taking them through that funnel from like problem aware, process aware to authority and attract, like all the way through that. But you're doing it in such a way that it's a case of, well, if you can't get through this bit, then you definitely can't get through that bit, which means you can't get, which you're never going to see the application. And then
Exactly. Exactly. And especially if you're operating in B2B like we do, if you're not able to watch a 10-minute video and you don't have the mental capability to do this, then usually you're not a successful business owner or not a successful entrepreneur. And that's why we repel these people right away. Yeah.
damn, absolutely love it. Okay, so my biggest question in terms of, because one thing that you said in like when we were chatting and stuff, it was consistent high ticket clients. Like, now with YouTube, what people's general perception of YouTube is it's a case of you're relying on YouTube, you're relying on the search, you're relying on that sort of, oh, if they find us, then they can potentially watch the video to potentially go down the video funnel to potentially book a call. That's a lot of potentials.
Yeah.
How do you get it so it's, this is how many calls we're going to generate?
Well, that's interesting because, and that's the very problem. This is the root of this problem goes way deeper. This is a problem of organic marketing in general, right? Organic marketing is not scalable. That is a fact that everyone has to understand. Why? Compare it with ads. Ads are just an example here, right? If I'm advertising for $10 a day and I'm getting one booked call, and then on the next day, I'm advertising for $100 a day, so 10x the budget, then usually you're able to book between 9 to 10 calls. Yeah, it is scalable. If you put more budget into the system, you get more out of it. For organic marketing, that's not the case. So that's the very reason why organic marketing is never as predictable as any kind of a scalable method, like running ads. And that's the very reason why I can never clearly say, okay, if I do this, this, and that, then I can say I'm booking between 1, 2, 3 calls per day, per week, or something. Organic marketing doesn't work like that, right? What you want to be doing here is you want to give people multiple touch points, right? And this is also a concept that I feel like no one is really talking about that. There are people who have different buying behaviors. Yeah. And for some people, they get triggered by a certain touch point, and some people get triggered by another touch point. In order to get more out of your videos, then you want to distribute multiple of these touch points then in your YouTube videos. So you're able to appeal with different call to actions to different kinds of people among your segment of potential ideal clients. A touch point like this may be something like we're doing a lot. We're launching our marketing reports every year. There's 20, 24 pages report about marketing specifically for coaches and consultants. Not everyone is booking calls with us, but quite a lot of people are downloading this in form of a PDF file or something and book calls then later down the road, 4, 5, 6 months later or something. And the more touch points you have like this, the more leads you're able to collect who are coming from different angles, if you will. But later down the road, you're able to collect them again in your sales process, right? That's super important. So you need to find ways to appeal to different people in different ways. Yeah, people need those touch points in order to build trust. I can tell you almost everyone who's jumping on calls with us downloaded at least one of these reports. Of course, these reports are written in a smart way. The copywriting in them is more or less on point, right? That's why it's so effective. But you need to give people multiple of these touch points in order to get in order to increase this predictability a little bit, because you cannot just expect that people book calls with you. Yeah. And then you say it's a consistent amount of book calls I get. No. Sometimes it's a download of a report. Sometimes it's that a certain person watched a webinar or a VSL of yours, or a person joined a Facebook group of yours, right? And then you got to be smart and be a little more active. right? And follow up with these kind of people and maybe invite them manually on a call. Yeah. Because not everyone will be ready to jump on a call and book a call passively, right? This is how to increase this predictability, a little bit, but it won't be 100% predictable like ads or scalable cold outreach methods. Never, because it's organic marketing. Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at obviously the ad side of YouTube, to book these high ticket clients, like how do you do? Because I know like there's so many different strategies, isn't there? Like there's so many different ways you could do it. Like you could send them to a webinar, you could send them to a VSL, like but specifically with the YouTube videos, is there a certain type of like do you follow that process where you put sort of a problem aware video on your first YouTube video for them so they see the problem aware, then they see a process aware, like obviously all with call to actions, but and then an authority video. So whoever's watched the first one, a certain percentage of the first one will definitely second and then second and third. Is that how you do your YouTube ad strategy, or is there a completely different way again? Or is it there's so many different ways depending on what you're selling? Give me your top two.
So that's interesting because, well, basically, the psychological principle is the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a matter or it's a question of the budget that you have available, right? So most people or most businesses, when they start running ads on YouTube, they should be making at least 10,000 a month, usually, ideally even more, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 per month or so. And then you can start running ads for $3, $5, $6,000 in budget per month. This is budget that you need to put in direct response marketing, right? You don't have the budget to go super broad with problem awareness and stuff like this. You simply don't have the budget for this. You can do
Okay.
this once you're spending more than 10, 15,000 per month, then you can do this. But there are enough people who have an immediate buying interest on YouTube, Facebook, same spiel, that you can get by just talking to them directly with a conversion ad, if you will. Yeah, that converts directly. And what you want to be doing then is you can, especially on YouTube, you can send them to a VSL. Works amazingly well because people who are on YouTube that are already in this video watching mode, yeah, they're watching YouTube videos, they're watching a video ad, and then they're more receptive to watching another 15 to 20-minute video on a website. Yeah, that works quite well for high ticket services. Yeah, the beautiful thing about a VSL is compared to a webinar, you don't have to sell your service on this. You only have to sell a call. And this
Yeah.
makes the VSL genius compared to a webinar. There's also a very reason why a VSL is only 15 to 20 minutes long compared to a 60 to 90 minutes webinar. Yeah. The majority of the sales stuff doesn't need to be involved in a VSL because you're handling this in your sales process. And this makes a VSL more effective. Yeah. That's beautiful. And then what we're doing is basically we're retargeting these kind of people everywhere. Retargeting means as soon as people landed on one of our websites or landing pages or in our funnel, we will show up over and over again with our ads on multiple platforms. If we're running cold ads on YouTube, we will also show up on Facebook, Instagram, Google, maybe sometimes even LinkedIn, and following up all the time. We're building this omnipresence. And this indoctrinates people again over time. And then what's the super important thing is if you have strong organic marketing in place, like a strong YouTube channel, you will convert most of these people later down the road, 3, 4, 5 months in the future with your organic marketing. But you bought yourself the reach through ads, a small majority bought through these ads, and the rest converts through your organic systems.
Okay, right. So we've got like to run that ads VSL to booked call funnel. How much are you saying you need, like ad budget?
I recommend if you're advertising in the US, at least $3,000 per month, yeah, on YouTube. That's what I recommend. There are other ways to generate some leads and book some calls with cheaper ads. For instance, if you don't have the budget yet, but you have a YouTube channel that converts quite well, you can run discovery ads on YouTube. Those are the ads that show up on the right suggestion feed. Yeah, it's a very small ad. It's not very obvious that this is an ad. And it leads people to your YouTube channel. So you're basically buying yourself reach for your YouTube channel. This is cheaper. There you can get started with 1,000 per month or so. But if you really want to go cold traffic and YouTube in-stream ads, that's the one that is skippable after 5 seconds. Yeah, that really appears in front of a video. That's very annoying. Yeah, those in-stream ads, you should have $3,000 per month to get started. Usually we're spending between $5,000 to $10,000 on these kind of ads because those are businesses who really want to scale. They're not there to generate some new leads or something. No, they want to scale.
Okay, got
and
it.
that's
So
what usually needs to get these ads off the ground and getting the algorithms start working.
So what we've got two phases here, haven't we? So we've got, say, obviously once you're, so phase one in the ads perspective is probably like working on your solid organic game, then using discovery ads to add fuel to the organic game.
Exactly.
So about like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and that should scale your YouTube game or your organic game. Again, it's still not predictable as much because obviously you're relying on them to go onto your channel, look around, go through the problemware, process aware, authority aware videos in that sort of playlist, and then from there, once that's working, obviously to a point where you can spend 3 to 5 to 10K on YouTube in stream ads, that's when you can obviously move across and obviously go to that perspective. Okay, I like that.
Exactly.
So what you've got then, because obviously, then we've got organic game, which we spoke about, problem, process, and authority aware, like in those specific videos. That needs to be churning out enough money for you to spend $1,000 on discovery ads.
Exactly.
So if you're not at a position to spend $1,000 per month on discovery ads, you need to work on your organic system. Yeah,
exactly. Because then there's something off, right? Either your message is somehow off, your positioning, your offer, the way how you present yourself online. Remember the ideal expert avatar, or something else is off. Maybe you're not professional enough, especially in the high ticket regime. When you're attracting broke leads or low quality leads, usually there's something off in your branding then, or the way how you produce your content. And as long as this is not on point, it won't help you to start running any ads. It won't help because you will do the same mistakes that in a paid way, right?
Yeah, it just highlights paid traffic just highlights what's going on, just magnifies it, doesn't it? Exactly. So if it's not working, it's just going to magnify the fact that it's not working. Yeah. If it's converting at 2%, it's just going to magnify that's what it does.
Exactly.
So you need to get this organic system correct. Have you got any tips, as well as obviously the ideal expert, obviously the ideal client, and the video form? Have you got any tips to increase the organic conversions?
Yes. What most people do wrong is, well, we talked about is the ideal expert, right? That's something you really should fix. This is so important. If people don't book calls with you, either there's something off in your communication, the language, how you talk to your audience. Yeah, there's something off there, or how you present yourself. Then another problem that I see many times is that people give out too many instructions, complete guides or stuff like this. If you're giving really everything to the smallest detail out for free, there's no need to book a call with you. It is perfectly fine to give out value. We're doing this a lot on our channel. There's a lot of value, really, just like we're doing here on this live event, right? That we're giving out a lot of value. That's perfectly fine. But if you really showed us the tiniest little detail, right, and do it for them, then there's no need to book a call with you, of course. Regarding that, okay, yeah, exactly. If you're giving out, of course, too many guides like this can be a problem. Besides that, most of the time, if you're really not able to book calls, then there's usually something off in your offer. There is something off in your communication with the audience, and this is a problem that usually only appears in YouTube, you're attracting the wrong kind of people. This means the algorithms on your YouTube channel are a little bit messy. And if you're feeding the YouTube channel with the wrong kind of data points, YouTube will show your videos to the wrong kind of people. You're getting the wrong kind of people in, and those are not suited for your offer, right? This can happen, right? This definitely can happen. Yeah.
Okay, how do you fix that then? So, like, for instance, because there's different ways people suggest you start, don't you? Like, for instance, like, if we were doing all about affiliate marketing, like, your first 20 videos should just be affiliate marketing, even though it's dead hard to rank for that keyword, to train the algorithm. And then other people suggest, like, picking a few different topics, but not too strayed away. Like, so if the algorithm's got your channel wrong, like, how would you identify that? And then how would you fix it?
It's pretty difficult to figure it out or to find that out. Usually, this doesn't happen overnight. Stuff like this happens then over multiple months or years when you're putting too many different kinds of content out there in form of you're talking about different offers to different people or stuff like this. Then you mess up everything over multiple months, right? And usually, you can observe it. You can observe it when you're getting a lot of subscribers, or you have a lot of subscribers, but your views go down in the videos. This means your newest videos are not relevant to your subscriber base, to your follower base. Then you see there's a mismatch, right? This means the content you're putting out there is not relevant to your followers. This means you have a follower base of people who are not really interested in what you're putting out there currently. Of course, you see it as a symptom in form of not booking any calls, not generating any leads. Of course, that's another symptom that you have. Besides that, it's kind of hard to spot this problem, right? To figure out, okay, I messed up the algorithm. In a really bad cases, you have to start a new channel. Yeah,
Wow.
definitely. And that's then the best way to approach this problem. Usually, it's difficult to run into this problem, right? That you really mess it up. Usually, this only happens if you change your offer on a channel. Then you run into this problem right away, right? Because you're building a follower base for your old offer. Then you change the offer, you have a new offer. Your content is not relevant to the older kind of people. The algorithm is still looking for these older people, your current subscribers. But as long as you only stick to one offer, yeah, and to one target audience, is also super important, right? To one target audience, then you won't run into this problem usually. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
This is
So,
also one of the secrets when it comes to running a niche business YouTube channel. We only talk about our niche. That's super important. Nothing else. It's only about our offer and our niche. Yeah.
okay, so for instance, like again, like so you've got a lot of the audience will probably be affiliate marketers and online business owners and coaches and consultants. So, for instance, the affiliate marketing niche, if they were to do, because it's quite easy to talk about your high ticket offer, talk about the softwares that are relevant to the offer, and then when they get more experience, they'll offer coaching and consultant. Like, they are all similar, like
Yeah.
they're quite close, but they're
Yeah.
all talking about marketing, for
Yeah.
instance. Like, would that be okay, or would it literally be no? You are talking about how to get clients for coaches, and that is it.
Exactly. The second option. Yeah. You want to
Okay.
be very, very clear about that. Ideally, you should somehow write that in your title, in your thumbnail, in the beginning of the videos, when you're doing call to actions. You should be very, very clear about who's your audience. Yeah, and you should address them. We call this ego labeling, yeah, in psychology. Yeah, you want to label their ego and say, well, if people identify themselves with a coach or consultant, just call them out on it, right? So
Okay.
you've got to be very clear about that. Otherwise, it's true. If I would be just randomly talking about Facebook ads, I would get all kinds of people on my channel. The channel would grow quite fast, and most people think, wow, that's amazing. The channel grows. It will grow with the wrong kind of people. It doesn't help. Yeah. So you need to be polarizing on this right away as soon as you can.
Okay. Got that right. Okay, so it's got to be super specific. You've got to lead them through, and I'll keep going back to it, like the problem aware, the process, and the authority, and attract video style. Then obviously they've got to be the ideal clients, so you've got to call them out on that. So it's got to be like coaches and consultants, affiliate marketers, like software, software users, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you also have to be that ideal expert. Like who are the leading experts? What do they look like? Obviously, you don't go and get a facelift, but like at least model yourself off them. So it's like, oh yeah, it looks continuous, because anything too crazy will go, you've got that polar scale, haven't you? So it's like, you've got boring as fuck, then you've got a little bit polar, and then you've got like too crazy. So you need to be at that like in between the consistency and the polar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to do enough to stand out, but not enough to scare people.
Yes, that's true, right? You can overdo it, yeah, and scare people off. That's true. Um, but yeah, definitely, you should be very clear about the audience, call them out, and you can even call out people who are not in your audience, right? You can even go one step further. We do this in ads all the time, right? We say, if your target audience, this is for you. If you're not like that, please skip this video ad now, right? It's not relevant to you. And you can
That's
do
pretty
this in your
cool.
YouTube videos too. Especially before you're doing any kind of call to actions. If you're inviting people on a call or something, you say, look, if you're not in this audience, right? If you're not ready for this or however, don't think about it, right? Yeah, you
So
can be
taking it
very
away
clear
as
about
well.
that.
Yeah, because you say like that, those calls, especially like at a stage where, like, if you're taking the sales calls, then you want every lead to be good, because otherwise you're wasting a hell of a lot of time. And then when you bring on commission only closers and you want the good ones to stay, the leads need to be good. Like, it needs to be like a solid
Yes.
flow and a
Yes.
quality, or the good closers are just going to go find different offers.
Yes, exactly. The leads need to be on point. Otherwise, you destroy the motivation of your sales team. Yeah, this happens more often than one might be thinking. Yeah, if you feed your sales team with the wrong kind of leads, their closing rate will go down. And since a sales team is operating like a wolf pack, if you will, it will also destroy the motivation of everyone else. And as soon as a sales rep starts noticing, I'm talking to unqualified leads, or I get the feeling like almost everyone I'm talking to is broke or something like this, they will create this bubble, right, for themselves, where they think there is no one out there who can afford my service, right? You start believing that. It's very dangerous. So a way to prevent this is, firstly, of course, in the marketing right away. Secondly, then on the website, if there's an application form or something, you can qualify there. If they're the wrong leads, they don't pass this funnel, they don't pass this application form. And what we're doing for all of our clients, us including as an agency, we have pre-qualification calls in place, right? We do pre-qualify very, very direct sometimes to figure out not only if they got the buying power or so, it's more like, are you a good fit for us? Can we really help you, right? Are you in our target audience? Are you ready for this? Do you have the money for this? And do we have the feeling that you will become successful with our service? If I feel that's a mismatch, or the client doesn't fit into our culture here in our company, then he won't pass the call. And this way you can make sure that the sales team afterwards is only working with qualified people, right?
Okay, so you've got like, so you do obviously the videos, the ads, etc., and then two, appointment setter to sales team.
Yes, exactly. You have the ads, then you have a funnel, an application form, then you have a pre-qualification team, and then you have a sales team afterwards, right? And the cool thing now is, once you get a pre-qualification process in place, you don't need too many sales reps anymore, right? Because you will notice that the vast majority of leads that you generate, they're through ads, for instance, they're not qualified. So usually a small amount of sales reps is good enough then to to manage, let's say, revenues of 100,000 per month or so. Sometimes you only need 2 sales reps or so for this. It's okay. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Love it. Yeah. So we've got like, so what I keep doing is, because there's just so much value here, I'm like recapping all the time, right? Okay.
That's okay.
So it's just making sure, like, guys, if you are watching this, girls, if you're watching this, this is one of the best episodes we've had so far in terms of the actual strategy, the right way to do it, the psychology behind it. So when you get to that ad stage, and to be fair, you can do it organically as well. It's just a lead flow. So once you get to that ad stage and it's like add, into VSL funnel, into application. And the applications can be quite critical. If you've done your videos the way we were chatting about earlier on, that's also a behavioral like pre-qualification. Into booked call. The booked call, the first call is the setter. The setter gets rid of all the crap. And then from there, they pass on to the sales team. And then obviously the sales team should have an increased conversion rate. So obviously if that's you at that point, that's fantastic, because obviously when you get on a call, you're actually collecting cash. If it's a sales team, then 100% those guys, the good ones, are going to stick around because it's a high converter, good cash flow for them. And if you are sat here, and I know what some people will be thinking, well, fucking hell, that's a lot of steps to get some cash. But if they can't go through those steps, what are you going to tell me, Matthias?
Well, then they're not qualified. It's 100% true. And this way you build a scalable process. And this is easier scalable than anything else, right? That's super important to understand. If you don't have any kind of pre-qualification calls in place, you're in trouble, right? You are in trouble. First, from your mindset perspective. Secondly, for the time of effort you have to put into your sales call. And you will start thinking that you're actually bad at sales. And I can tell you many times, if people somehow know how to sell and they're working with qualified leads, they can close. And after pre-qualifying correctly, your closing rate should be between 60 to 80%. The problem most of the time is if they have a low closing rate, is that they're not pre-qualifying correctly. They're talking to the wrong people on the phone.
Yeah, we said that when we had like one of our first like closing engagements that we had, and we had like a team beneath us and stuff, and it was like, if the leads are coming through, it was like, because to be fair, if they got their marketing right, and when they did, like, I was a brand new closer at the time, and obviously I was so inexperienced, I was still closing at a good rate because their marketing was switched on. Like, you don't have to be a great salesman, you just need to take them over the line, if the marketing does the right job. And we were saying that all the time. Like, when we weren't closed, when our sales would go down to like 10% to 15% as a team, we'd be like, well, you're bringing in the wrong person. I was like, because we know good marketing brings, as you say, 60 to 80% close rate.
Yeah.
And if you can get your marketing right, it's 60 to 80% close rate. You can reverse engineer that, and you know your numbers. And that's the most important thing in marketing, isn't it? Is knowing your numbers.
Exactly. Especially later in performance marketing when you start running ads, right? But you should always be aware of your numbers.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you got, like, you've given us so many things that nobody really talks about, and like hacks that obviously people just don't really address in the modern marketing world. Like, what else have you got for me?
Well, I would say, if you really want to work with really good leads, if you want to start charging now for your coaching consulting services between $5,000 to $10,000 or so, not only $1,000 to $2,000. If you really want to start with more qualified leads, more affluent people, or bigger businesses, the best tip I can give you is become a little bit more conservative, a little calmer, a little more boring, if you will. That definitely attracts higher quality people. I can tell you, almost everyone who's on a call with me, he tells me, why I jumped on a call with you? I felt like your vibe is resonating with my way of doing business or something like that, because you're calm, you're realistic, you're not over exaggerating and make 100,000 in 2 weeks or so. No, we got to be realistic. And then you put your expert frame out there, and this will bring you so much better results than anything else.
Yeah, being so much calmer. Say, like, it's like when you see it sometimes, don't you, on like YouTube videos or TikToks, and people are like, and they're bouncing over there and they're bouncing over there, and you're like, well, you just sit still and give me the information that you need.
Yeah, and it's, you got to think about how you're putting yourself out there as an expert. Do you really look like an expert when you're jumping around there and looking like a clown? No, right? And professional business owners know this. And they buy from people who are similar to them. Also affluent people, if you're in the B2C market, right? They're always buying from people who are similar to them or a little bit above, right? They're looking up to you. And if you look like a clown or something, well, you might be generating leads, but ask yourself, are these the right kind of leads? And most people don't even know how it really feels like to work with amazing clients, with clients who really can afford your service. Yeah, between 5 to 10,000, or for our agency service, which is way more expensive, right, for the bigger companies, right? Most people never ever experienced how it feels like having a really qualified lead on a call.
Yeah, because you hear it a lot, don't you? Especially like one of the main things people moan about is their leads and their clients. So, and that's when it comes from a point of attracting the wrong lead and the wrong client, closing them anyway because you're desperate for cash.
Yeah.
And it spirals into something that is just an absolute nightmare.
Exactly. It's a nightmare. And you start building up these core beliefs that everyone in your audience is broke, that there are no qualified people out there. You start building this mental bubble for yourself. And that's a terrible feeling to be in as a business owner, right? And yeah, most people never really experience how it really is working with the right kind of people, because it goes somehow beyond their horizon, if you will. And I can imagine many things that I said on this call here, on this live stream. There were things that most people never really thought about, right? Which was way beyond their horizon. And for most people, it really is like you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know how really good leads, how affluent people, how successful business owners, entrepreneurs, how they are communicating. Yeah. Subconsciously, consciously, the obvious things like the environment, but also small, tiny things in your behavior, the kind of words you're using. How are you saying it? This is extremely important. Yeah. This is extremely important. This is the stuff that really makes the difference at the end of the day. Yeah, those are small, tiny details that most people oversee. They're not even aware of this. They don't even know that this exists. Yeah.
And you're right. They don't like. I've literally I got my pen out, mate. Like I was like, right, I'm taking notes. I was like, there's some quality stuff that you can integrate into what I'm already doing. Stuff that I didn't even think about. So it's been incredible, as you say, like little things that I feel like I've been around for years. And just listening to this conversation, I'm like, oh, of course, yes. Literally, just some things are reaffirming, some things are like I've never even heard of before. Like, even to the using the psychology of when you're at your authority and attract videos, that it's a case of we need to use psychology that increases testosterone for those people to book calls. It's like, how freaking specific can you be? Like that is.
Yeah. You can
like,
even control hormone levels in your marketing, right? You can even control that. Yeah, but in my marketing, it's more like 60% testosterone, 40% cortisol. Yeah, just make sure that those kind of people that we're attracting are a little more conservative, more professional, but there's enough testosterone in our marketing in there to really get these people who are really driven, right? These high performers, doers. Yeah, those are the people who are most successful with our services. But we still have enough cortisol triggers in our marketing to make sure they're more conservative, they're real entrepreneurs, they're real business owners, not small children who think about starting their business, stuff like this. And we're polarizing very, very, very direct in our marketing on this. Yeah. Never be afraid of polarizing. You don't have to be harsh or something like this. You just have to be real talk. And in my experience, this is what converts in marketing, the real talk. Yeah. Telling the truth like it is. Most people don't want to hear the truth. Yeah. But this way you're separating yourself from, firstly, all your competitors. Secondly, from all the influencers out there, from all the entertaining guys, especially on a platform like YouTube. Guys like Mr. Beast, they will get most of the reach. If you compete against them on the same entertaining level, there's no chance. You have to compete on another level, if you will. So we have to change the whole game, if you will. Yeah. That's why your value proposition is not entertaining on a YouTube channel. Your value proposition is giving value and telling the truth like it is. Waking people up, creating this problem awareness. Most of my content is really just talking about what's going wrong in the industry and what are people doing wrong when it comes to lead generation. And then I'm explaining how it really works. And then people are saying, whoa, okay, I've never thought about that. There's something about this. This guy's crazy, you know? But I'm saying it like it is. And you have to say it like it is because, well, babysitting people won't help, right? Everyone else is doing this. All your competitors are already doing this. Yeah.
I'm done, mate. I've got got so much to think about when it comes to my own YouTube and my own, obviously, like lead generation, like stuff that I've never ever considered before. So this has been absolutely golden, pal. I mean, like this has definitely been one of the favorites in the series so far. If people wanted to chat to you a little bit more or learn a little bit more, like what have you got for them? How can people find you, and who is the right person to find you?
Well, if you want to jump on a call with us, if you want to have me to have a look at your marketing specifically, you can jump on our website. That's www.em-consulting.net. I'm pretty sure we can put a link there somewhere.
There'll
You
be
can
a
sign up
link.
for a call with us. If you just have a quick question or so, send me a message on Instagram. Just type my name and just like it is here in the live stream. Same spiel applies to YouTube. Just type in my name, then you find the videos. If you want to get to the next level in your marketing, you want to have a head start in your marketing, a level beyond the level of your competitors, then those will be the right kind of videos for you. Okay. And usually you can get quite far by just implementing what I'm saying there. So have fun.
So what we'll do, guys, is I think Matthias's website is already the first link in the YouTube description. What I'll do to make it easier, guys, is I will put the YouTube channel and I will put the IG in after the live. So if you're catching the replay, guys, 100%, that's where the links will be. So first three links will all be there for you. It'll be the website, it'll be the YouTube channel, and the Instagram. Don't forget, guys, we are going live in another hour's time. We've got Alenka here who will be teaching us how to sell on Facebook stories and how to increase their conversions and lead generation there. So super excited for that. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and I will see you on the next video.